Hi everyone, it's Trishna. Happy Sunday. I hope you're doing well. If you are live or on replay, go ahead and leave me a comment and say hi. I will either say hi in the live or I will say hi later on if you say hi in the replay. I respond to all comments, whether you are on Facebook or on YouTube. All right, so today is Sunday. I normally go live on Saturday. Long story short, I had a wedding planning switcheroo where a decorator was supposed to come yesterday and I was going to be doing my live. And then Sunday, today, I was going to be spending the whole day going dress shopping. But as I was about to go live yesterday, the decorator was like, "Oh, can I just come on Sunday?" So I kind of had to switch the days and fit my wedding dress day into the final hours of Saturday. The good news, I found what I'm going to wear, so that's great. I'm excited about it. So that was good. But that is why I'm going live on a Sunday instead of a Saturday. So, anyways, today I want to talk to you about using logic affirmations. So, whenever we are doing any kind of manifestation work, whenever we're trying to bring something that we want into our reality, the thing that is keeping us from being able to bring it into our reality often is one of two things. The first one is belief. We don't really believe we can have whatever it is that we want to have. And the second one is we cannot detach from the outcome. We're too attached, which means that we notice when we're too attached to something, that means that we're paying more attention to the fact that that thing is not in our life. That is what makes us attached to the outcome. So detaching from the outcome is important because that way you're not focusing so much on it not being here. You're detached. You're cool. It's all good. It's going to happen. So belief is the one that I want to talk about today because I know that that is a barrier no matter what manifestation technique that you're using is the belief barrier. And that is what is often keeping people from being able to manifest their desires. So this came about because I was talking to a friend and she really enjoys working with affirmations. That's like her technique. As I mentioned before, that is not my main technique. If you want to know my main technique, go to my Law of Attraction playlist, look at the first 7 videos. There'll be 3 videos in there that's called like how to heal your energetic or how to heal your emotional blocks. I think it's videos 4, 5, and 6, but there'll be 3 of them. And I go into full depth on my personal, oh, sorry, I think it's just a bit. I go into full depth on my personal process for how I like to manifest. But if you're somebody who really likes to work with affirmations, that is definitely a technique that works for a lot of people. I know people personally where that works wonders for them, and I know people not so personally where that works wonders for them as well. So watch this video if you really like affirmations. Also, make sure that you check out my other video on affirmations that I posted a few months ago where I go in depth. And that will be a very important video because if you're struggling with belief, then you want to make sure that you believe that affirmations work. Because as long as you believe that affirmations work, it doesn't matter what your affirmation is. You don't have to believe the affirmation itself. You can just say it and it'll work because you believe that affirmations work. So that way you can kind of get around some of this belief barrier. If you believe that affirmations work, you don't have to believe the specific ones that you're saying because you believe that the process works, so it'll work. So that video, the affirmations video that I'm referring to that I created a few months ago, that one will help you believe in affirmations because I explain how it works and a little bit of the science behind it and some of the spirituality behind it. So that will help with that. Okay, so on to the topic of this video, how to use logic as your affirmations if you're struggling with the affirmations that you have. So if you're saying certain affirmations of things that you want and you're focusing on the end outcome and you keep repeating them, but you just can't believe them, and so it's not manifesting. I recommend that you create logical affirmations. So use logic statements, logical thinking. Use those as your affirmations because it's logical. You can believe it. It bridges the gap of what you want and where you are. It's the logic. So if you use logic in place of affirmations, you'll be able to bring in what you're looking for. So I will give you some examples. I have a general example. I have an example if you're trying to bring in a specific person, like an ex. And I have an example if you're trying to bring in love. Okay, but this can be used for anything. It can be used for your career, it can be used for abundance, it can be used for anything. All right, so the first example is, and this is a very good one, this general logic affirmation can be used across the board, super powerful. I recommend this one. So the first one is, just because it doesn't look like anything is happening doesn't mean that nothing is actually happening. So an example from childhood. So whenever you're a little kid and it was your birthday and you're really excited about it, But for some reason, maybe for some of you, nobody talked about your birthday. Like it was leading up to a few days, but it seemed like everybody forgot about your birthday. On your actual birthday, nobody wished you happy birthday. Everybody acted like it didn't exist, like you didn't exist. And then you're super sad, and you're just like, oh, everybody forgot my birthday, I'm really sad. And then guess what? Later on in the day, you walk into a room, everybody else surprised, and the whole time they've been planning your birthday like a week, 2 weeks in advance. You had no idea, but they were thinking about you the whole time. So leading up to the birthday, it seemed like nothing happened. It seemed like nobody cared. On the surface, it seemed like you weren't going to have a birthday party. But underneath the surface, everybody was thinking about it. Everybody was planning for it. And bam, on your birthday, surprise, here it is, manifestation. So just because it doesn't look like anything is happening doesn't mean nothing is actually happening. And as an adult, I can think of a lot of different ways that this applies. I know for me personally, when I was working at a previous company, I had no idea that that company was actually looking at my salary. I'd been working there for like 4 years already at that point in time, that they were looking at my salary, measuring it against the market value, and they were doing this whole analysis. And then I had no idea this was happening, but all of a sudden one day my boss has a chat with me and is like, oh, by the way, we're adding like $5,000 to your salary because you've been underpaid and we're compensating for that. So all of a sudden and she's like, it's effective today. So I had no idea that was happening, and yet stuff was happening. More abundance was coming towards me. And if you have ever won an award at work, you may not have known that you were going to win the award at work, but people were paying attention, people were watching, people were putting things together in place for you. So it seemed like nothing was happening, life was just usual, and then bam, you get an award. Same with raises. I know that's happened for me before. So there are tons of examples that you can think of in your life where it looked like nothing was happening, but so much was going on beneath the surface. All there working for you to give you the manifestation that you wanted, to give you the surprise that you didn't expect, but that was ultimately what you probably wanted. So that's why saying the affirmation of just because it doesn't look like anything is happening doesn't mean nothing is actually happening. So that's one example. All right, again, you can use that for anything. So the next one is, all right, give me a second here. Okay, so a lot of times when people are trying to manifest love, they are trying to bring an ex back, like an ex partner. And so whenever we are broken up with somebody, maybe somebody has left us, maybe even if we have left them, and some time has passed, we may feel like the other person can't ever love us again. They don't love us anymore. They left us, or I left them, and now they hate me. So what you want to think about then is you want to think about, okay, so what about my exes? And think about your exes and think, how do I feel about my exes? Do I still love some of them in a different way? Do I still care about them, want the best for them? Has there ever been a time where there was an ex that I broke up with, or that broke up with me, and I still wanted them, but I didn't show it? So that's a way to use logic, where essentially, just because, so essentially that would be, your affirmation for that would be, they love me before they can love me again. So instead of saying like they love me again, which you may not believe, you're using the logic part at the beginning. They love me before. That is factual. That is logical. That's already happened. They love me before they can love me again. So when you put that logic portion at the beginning, it automatically negates any disbelief you have of the second one. Because it's like they love me before, so they can love me again. Because I've also done that myself, right? You've loved somebody before that you could love again because there have been exes that you wanted to take back. So the same can happen for you. So that's an example there. The next one is love in general. So it could be an ex, it could be maybe somebody that you're dating where you feel like they're not really texting you, or they're not really texting you quickly enough. So then you can think logically about times in the past where maybe you've written out a text to them, or you've written out a text to somebody that you really liked, and you wrote it out and then you hesitated. And you're like, maybe I shouldn't send that. Maybe that's too much. Maybe that's awkward. Maybe that's weird. Maybe that's too soon. And then you deleted it and you didn't send anything at all. So that could be what is going on with the person that you love. And so that would be the logic that bridges your gap, the logic that you use to just be like, oh, they want to text me all the time. They might just be hesitating. Something like that. Now, some of you may think, but what if that's not actually true? What if they aren't texting me and then deleting it? Even though I've done that in the past, maybe they're not doing that. Okay, here's the thing. and we've talked about this before. Whenever you get a tarot reading or a psychic reading, the person isn't reading some obscure future. They're reading the story that you are telling yourself. And that story that you are telling yourself, that the psychic or tarot reader is picking up on, is a story that you are telling the universe. And it is a story that the universe is fulfilling for you. So that is why a psychic reading can pick up on what's going to happen for you, because they're reading the story that you're telling, and the story that you're telling is manifesting the reality, and they're reading that, and that's the whole cycle. So everything is about the story that you're telling yourself, and therefore telling the universe. And the universe is happy to oblige and fulfill any story you tell it. So what story do you want to tell it? So you don't know if they're hesitating sometimes or not. So what story do you want to tell instead? Or maybe you do know, maybe you know that they're not doing that. Well, what story do you want to tell instead? So that is the key here. So use logic to help you tell that story. Use logic to help you state your affirmations. Use logic to help you bridge that belief gap. And that is going to take you a long way, because you're going to feel better whenever you say your affirmations. You're going to feel less stressed about it. You're going to feel less attached to it. You're going to start believing things a little bit more. And just that little switch in belief is going to be enough to start bringing things into your life, because the universe does not require that you believe things 100%. It doesn't require that you believe things 70%. You can believe things just a little bit more than the majority, 51%, 52%, and that is enough for the universe to be like, I heard you, order fulfilled. So remember, you don't have to get things perfect, but you do want to move in that right direction. If you move in the right direction, it's going to be rewarded. The universe, the way that it works whenever you're working with your frequency, so you're changing the frequency of your vibration, that frequency only needs to shift a little bit, and it can create a huge change. And I've talked about this a little in my video, but let's say you are here, I'm in point A, and there's point B. Am I gonna say this example right? Okay. Okay, point B. So if I'm flying from where I am to point B, okay, I know the exact direction that I'm going in. But what if I'm just a degree off? Just a little bit. Okay, over 200 miles, or not 200 miles. Why did it say that over thousands of miles, that small little change is going to take you and create a bigger and bigger gap, right? So that small change in frequency is creating a huge gap from where you thought you're going to where you are now going. So I hope I'm getting the point across, where a small change in frequency can create drastic changes in what you actually bring into your life. So it doesn't have to be as hard as sometimes it feels. You don't have to, it's not this huge exercise that you have to do. You just have to make little bridges with logic towards belief, just little ones. And it's going to take you so far. You have no idea. Or maybe you do. You've done this before. You've all manifested. You're all master manifestors. It's just sometimes we don't know how to like re-engineer it backwards because we did it on autopilot. But anyways, I hope this is helpful. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you have any topic ideas. I am in need of some more topic ideas. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. If you are not in the Facebook group, go ahead and join the Facebook group. The link is below. And if you're on YouTube, like my video and subscribe. And I will see you in my next one.